Man kann überhaupt nichts direkt von unserem Gruppennamen ableiten. Wir brauchten halt einen Namen. So nannten wir uns Queen. Man kann da vieles hineininterpretieren. Macht zum Beispiel, königlich oder majestätisch. Aber eigentlich bedeutet unser Gruppenname nichts Konkretes. Ich meine, nach einer gewissen Zeit verliert wahrscheinlich jeder Bandname seine Bedeutung. Wenn man eine Popgruppe gründet, ist das Wichtigste, dass sich die Leute den Namen merken. Die Leute sagten bei uns Queen, was ist das? Damit haben wir natürlich auch spekuliert. Wir wollten einen Namen, den man einmal hört und nicht mehr vergisst. Erst im Nachhinein beginnt man als Band zu arbeiten und gibt so dem Namen auch eine Bedeutung.
We did it in the same studio where, what was that film made?
Francis Ford Coppola.
Oh, The Godfather. Heaven's Gate was made in LA. It's a big film studio.
Wir haben vor der Tournee in einem Filmstudio geprobt. Übrigens in dem Studio, wo Francis Ford Coppola seinen Film Der Pate gedreht hat und wo auch Heaven's Gate entstanden ist. Wie viel eine unserer Lichteinheiten kostet, weiß ich nicht. Wollt ihr sie etwa kaufen? Diese Dinger, wir nennen sie UFOs, wurden speziell für uns entworfen und angefertigt. Sie haben dafür ein spezielles Material verwendet, das auch beim Flugzeugbau eingesetzt wird. Bei unserer letzten Tournee haben wir sehr bewegliche Lichtspots eingesetzt und dieses Mal wollten wir, was das Licht betrifft, noch einen Schritt weitergehen. Wir haben diese UFOs entwickeln lassen, damit das Licht noch beweglicher wird. Man kann jetzt buchstäblich damit spielen wie mit einem Instrument. Sie haben einen so hohen Grad an Bewegungsfreiheit, dass sie nicht nur nach oben und unten beweglich sind, sondern uns auch über die ganze Bühne folgen können.
Die Zusammenarbeit mit David Bowie eure Idee oder ist es von ihm ausgegangen?
Es war mehr wie eine Jam-Session. Es passierte einfach spontan. Er war zufällig in der Schweiz, als wir dort Plattenaufnahmen machten. Ich glaube, hätten wir es geplant, wäre es nie zustande gekommen. Solche Dinge kann man nicht vorausplanen. Es war ganz einfach. Er kam eines Tages zu uns ins Studio und hörte sich unsere neuen Songs an. Wir gingen dann zusammen essen und sagten plötzlich, warum gehen wir nicht einfach gemeinsam ins Studio und schauen, was passiert? Also machten wir das am nächsten Tag. So fing das Ganze an. Bis wir tatsächlich anfingen, war es schon ziemlich spät in der Nacht. Wir spielten zunächst so aus Spaß einige unserer alten Lieder, dann begannen wir ein neues. Am nächsten Tag hörten wir uns das dann an und sagten, das ist eigentlich ganz gut, machen wir es zu Ende.
And it sort of happened after that. And then the next day we thought, oh, that's pretty good, so let's finish it. That's all. You might be interested to know our record Under Pressure has just gone to #2 in Argentina this week, which is an interesting parallel.
Es wird Sie vielleicht interessieren, dass unser Song Under Pressure diese Woche auf Platz 2 der Hitparade in Argentinien liegt. Das ist zur Zeit des Falklandskonflikts ganz interessant. Natürlich werden wir diesen Konflikt nicht beenden können. Gäbe es für uns eine Möglichkeit, etwas dagegen zu tun, würden wir es unternehmen. Aber ich fürchte, es liegt nicht in unserer Macht als Musiker. Ich meine, speziell wir mit unserer Gruppe Queen haben nie angestrebt, eine politische Gruppe zu sein. Aber ich muss sagen, wir waren schon in Argentinien. Wir haben dort eine Tournee gemacht und das Publikum war hervorragend. Ich finde, es ist für unser Land eine Schande, dass dieser Falklandkrieg überhaupt entstehen konnte. Es klingt jetzt vielleicht wie eine Ausrede, aber wir sind halt sehr weit davon weg und es hat eigentlich mit uns als Musiker nichts zu tun. Wenn man aber von uns einen Kommentar zur Falklandkrise haben will, dann kann ich nur sagen, es ist eine verdammte Schande, dass diese zwei Länder Krieg führen. Wenn unsere Musik irgendetwas ausdrücken kann, dann ist es Frieden. Wir sind selbstverständlich gegen den Krieg. Unsere Musik ist in gewisser Weise eine Flucht. Wir wollen, dass die Leute einfach glücklich sind, unsere Musik hören und nach Hause gehen. Falkland ist eigentlich nicht unser Problem. Wir sind halt zufällig Engländer. Ja, das stimmt. Irgendwie ist es merkwürdig, dass sie unsere Platten kaufen, während sie gegen England Krieg führen. Es wäre für uns absolut langweilig, immer nur dieselben alten Songs zu spielen. Es macht uns Spaß, Neues auszuprobieren. Wenn man sich aber zum Beispiel unsere neue Platte anhört, so ist vieles neu und ungewohnt. Trotzdem findet man Ähnlichkeiten mit früheren Songs.
Some of our early stuff, it's still there, you know? Hey! Bohemian Rhapsody was like 4 or 5 albums.
Bohemian Rhapsody ist schon 4 oder 5 Alben her. Seit damals haben wir uns ziemlich verändert. Ein Lied wie We Will Rock You war ein Schritt in eine ganz neue Richtung. Oder auch Crazy Little Thing Called Love oder Another One Bites the Dust. Wir verändern uns laufend, so sind wir halt.
So basically that's the kind of group we are. Hey!
Man kann es nicht immer allen recht machen. Wir versuchen es vielen oft recht zu machen.
We try and please quite a lot of people most of the time.
Can you tell us how is the tour going going so far?
It's going well. It's going very, very well, and it's getting better every day, you know, because I think it's a new tour, and we're learning a lot after every show. And I personally take a lot of, you know, do a lot of research after every show to find out what's going right, especially like the lights we were talking about before, and to make sure that because I mean they're very sophisticated lights and they can do so much more. And I think every day I learn something, you know. I ask the lighting man to do something new, and also we're interjecting the show with new songs. So every time we do a new song, we have to have a new light thing. So I think I ask him to try and do different things every day. So I don't know. I mean, you've seen the shows before, but I don't know if you find them different. But I mean, the light cues can be different, you know, forever. I mean, you can have a new show every day if you wanted to.
Actually, how long did you rehearse for this show? I mean, it's very
We rehearsed for a week in Los Angeles. For 2 weeks. So, but basically, it was all on technical things to make sure that the lights would work. But even then, we didn't really rehearse that much, and we didn't have time to rehearse the new songs, because basically we were, you know, trying out the lights and also trying to introduce the new keyboard man. So we had to try and find out if the new songs were going to work with an extra musician, because we'd never done that before. And so most of the time was taken up by that. So we didn't have time to do the new songs.
We recently spoke to Mac in Munich,
Yeah.
in the Musik Studios. What do you think of him? I mean, you work for quite a long time.
Well, Mac is an absolute genius. He's an absolute genius. I think I personally wouldn't want to work with anybody else. And if I was doing any solo projects or anything outside the format of Queen as well, I would use him. What did he say about us?
He said exactly the same.
Did he?
about
Oh, that's
you.
good.
Yeah, exactly the same. He said you want to do it quick, you know, very
Is that what he said?
spontaneous.
Oh, that's good. Also,
It's really.
the rapper was good.
So it's now the 10th anniversary of the band officially.
Yeah.
Is it hard today to last for 10 years or?
Oh yes, I mean, I tell you, and touch wood. We've been very lucky, and I must say I didn't really think we were going to last that long. I mean, you never think about it that way. You don't get up every morning and think, my God, this is going to be over. You just carry on and come up with some fresh ideas and think about what to do. So it's like a big business thing. And as long as we don't take it too seriously. Earlier on, we used to take it very seriously. And I think it got a bit too serious. And I just thought to myself, we should try and inject some fun into it, you know? So that you don't, you know, you don't get too serious and too moody about it. So, you know, a lot of it. And I think sometimes that comes in, that goes through, gets into the songs as well. You know, get a bit of fun in there. And
does the way have changed how you are together as a band? I mean, 10 years ago you probably stood all the time together.
very true. Yes, it's sort of now we've learned to accept each other instinctively. You know what I mean? We know it's a kind of job, and we come together for, which is a good thing, because if we stayed together all the time, we'd get on each other's nerves and get. There was a time where there was a lot of friction, you know, where we felt, but then we sort of ironed that out, and we just, you know, we argue a lot, we fight a lot, but then in the end, you know, what really is the key feature is that we must come up with some product and some good stuff, so we know. And I think we've used an intelligent thing, you know, we don't get too, because it's easy to get very egotistical and say, oh, you know, I'm the greatest and all that, and I'm not getting, it's quite a fight, and it's not easy, because egos can run wild, and, you know, all kinds of things can happen. You have to kind of, you know, keep them down a bit and keep one foot on the ground. You know, it's easy to sort of say I'm a big star and I want everything. It's very easy.
Do you think the values in the rock music scene have changed a little bit since the late 60s, early 70s? Maybe at that time the cliche of sex and drugs and rock and roll was...
Yeah, I think you get various elements always through it. There'll always be, as a kind of tradition, there will always be a change, because you need, the whole industry needs something like that. Every now and again you get a new phase and everybody and then they get a bit too easy going, and then somebody new comes in, and then everybody who's gone before says, "Oh, we better make sure." And that's good. It's like getting a new, fresh injection, and I like that. It's good competition, and you need that.
Rock music, your show is very a very visual show. You know, is the visual element more important today in the rock music, or has it just developed?
I think kind of visual element is always going to have to be there. It's a form of entertainment, you know. Entertainment take, and I think there's no way. You know, people want to be entertained in various ways. And one way I know they don't want to be entertained is for people to just come on and play their songs, because they can hear it on the records and go home. I think that's why people try different things. It's all and a lot of visual theatrics. It's always been there from any kind of theatre entertainment, like even Gypsy Rose Lee, you know, from Stripper. I mean, you've got to do something to strip or whatever. It's a kind of entertainment. So it's visual, you know, it's got to be, yeah. So visual theatrics will always be used. All the greatest acts have used it in one way or other. Like Jimi Hendrix or the Stones, or you know, it has to be there. It's a form of entertainment. It's like plus. You do your music and then entertainment plus. And I just like doing that anyway. I'd hate to go on stage and just sit and sing my songs. I mean, I have to move. Doing them depends on each song. If there's an aggression in some song, I have to show it.
Last question: when you look at the Stones, they have their 20th anniversary this year. Or
Good Lord, it's
20,
20 years.
Yeah.
Good luck to them.
So, can you imagine to get to the same age with your band?
Well, 20 years.
Yeah.
20 years.
So what's your comment?
I wouldn't
on
know.
that?
I wouldn't know. I really, at this time, I wouldn't know. I think it'd be nice if people still buy records and if we still feel. So the most important thing is for us to feel, you know, and I would hate to just do it just because we want to do it to sell records or just to make money. If we weren't interested in it, I wouldn't do it, because I mean, at the moment I'm interested in doing this. If I lose that interest, I will go and do something else because I feel I can do it. I like trying out different things, but at the moment there's a lot within Queen that we all can do. So, and one day I will say to myself, "This, I have done enough with Queen. I will try and do something else." So I couldn't tell you whether that can happen tomorrow or 2 years' time or another 10 years. But who knows? Let's wait and see.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you very much. Thank
great.
you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Und heute staan we morgenrecht.
Gefällt dir soweit? Okay, can you tell us how content are you so far with the tour and how it's going so far here in Europe? What are your impressions?
It's been very good. Yes, we can't wait to get to Vienna. We will be hot by the time we get to Vienna. So watch out. It's been very good. We sold loads of tickets and we've had not many complaints. It's been good. Very hot.
Yes, we have a new light show that we think would be interesting. It's been a long time since we've been to Austria, to Vienna, and it'd be nice to get back. You've missed a couple of our last light shows, but this one I think is the best one we've had so far. So we're still working it in. By the time we get there, it should be really working well.
Well, it was very impressive. Can you tell us how long you basically work on the preparation first before you put the stage show together like that?
About 3 minutes. No, actually, there's a lot of planning on the technical stages first, and we see sort of drawings, and which we sort of think that'll be good, and then they make models of the lights and things which we like, and we sort of work on it with our tour manager Gerry Stickells, and then they build the things in the end when we get to rehearsals, and then we try them out and see if they work.
They're still being modified at the moment, actually, because when this lot was first built, they found there were so many degrees of freedom, no one could really control it, because you've seen these things, they're like animals almost, and we had to do some modifications to the circuitry to make it so that one guy could actually control them a bit better. But they're very challenging because they can actually interact with the performers, so we're just getting used to them, as Roger says. It takes a while for them to get used to us and for us to get used to them.
Yeah. Because it's not standard equipment, it was equipment that we had specially designed for us, and these are the only ones that exist anywhere in the world. So be quite, it's quite interesting to work with new kinds of lighting.
It's now officially the 10th year of the band. Do you think that nowadays it's very difficult to stay together for such a long time as a band?
Yes.
It is hard, yes. It's very essential to stay together. I mean, the first essential of being a successful group is that you have to stay together, really, in a way. It sounds stupid, but that is something that a lot of people forget. You know, some people get to a certain point and then think they can do it on their own, and most probably you can't. And the only way we do manage to stay together, I think, is to keep the balance between us and know when to leave each other alone. So we're four very different people, and the differences become more apparent as time goes on. So we just kind of back off each other and let each other have their head in certain directions.
It's a good question in a way, because it's a very simple but basic truth that a lot of bands don't seem to realise, and they do let their egos run away with each other, and after they have some success they tend to think, I'm too good for the group or something, and they go off and they want to leave and they break up, you know. And it's very important not to do that, I think, and very few bands really manage to stick together for a long time. It's a good thing, really.
Do you think that maybe also the way that bands are together changed a little bit? Like maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago you were together all the time, and nowadays it's more like meeting each other for recording and preparation, and then everybody has time off. Is it more that the image of a band or the way a band works changed a little bit to the 60s or something?
It's difficult, because I mean, when we started off we were sort of virtually almost living together, but now we're working, and we weren't working that very much because nobody wanted us. But now, although we don't live together, we all live separately, but we're working so much, we see almost as much of each other as we did really in the early days. So right. It's different, but we still see just as much of each other, really. It's quite sickening, actually.
It's disgusting.
What can you tell us about the new album, Hot Space? It will be out very soon here in the market. After having heard it once, we can all say that it's again different. Do you think it's something characteristic about your band that you're not always continuing the way it was on the last album or the last tour? Can you tell us something about that?
Yes, we do feel that, I think we tend to get bored with what we're doing before everyone else does, which is a good thing. So having done a particular kind of music, we tend to say, okay, done, let's try something different. And for this particular album, we had a lot of time. We gave ourselves intentionally about 9 months to do it in. And during that time, we recorded many more songs than we needed. And we just kind of threw out everything which sounded like we'd done it before. So everything on the album is very different, really. I think some people would be quite shocked.
Well, not all of it.
Well, most.
I mean, there are some things.
It is.
Shut up.
Sorry.
Now, there are the odd things which sort of go back a bit.
Yes.
You know, which it's not all brand new, but a lot of it is very different for us, I think. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, what was the question? The tour, yeah, the tours stay exactly the same, only better.
We just interviewed Meg, who is working with you for a long time, or for some time now. What's your impression on him? What do you think of him?
He's German. Oh, he's very excellent, and he was a big shot in the arm for us in the studio, because we just got to the stage in the studio where we thought we knew it all in a way after 8 years. Yeah. And we had our own methods of doing things. We always mic'd things up the same, and although the music was changing, the sounds were a little bit sort of static. And Mac really came along and changed everything, and he said, look, you don't do it like this, we can try it a different way. And we had a little bit of sort of friction. It was hard to work at first, but having got over the initial stages, we now have a much bigger scope, and I think we get much better sounds than we ever did.
Yeah, he's fantastic, actually. He's taught us a way of being simple again, if you know what I mean. And using the studio more efficiently. We really get on very well. We have a very good working relationship. He's a very patient man.
He's very good, yes. And probably the best guy. I mean, he has the best drum sound in the whole world, I would say. He has really a new technique with drums.
Yeah, very good, very good.
Which is hard to pin down. It just sort of happens. At least it appears to just happen, although...
Whereas everybody else uses 12 microphones, Mac will use 4 microphones and get a better sound, you know, which must be good.
So do you think there's something like also the sound engineer has a creative function?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Yes, he thinks the same as us as well now. We think very much of that.
Yes, it becomes a good unit, really. In fact, we think listening to our old records that the sound really sounds old-fashioned in a way compared to what we're doing now. And, you know, a lot of the sort of standard American way to record groups sounds kind of old-fashioned to us now.
Yeah.
Just that there is a better way of doing it. Everything doesn't have to be EQ'd and made sort of over-sharp. Things can cut through with their natural sound. It sounds like a load of bullshit, doesn't it? But it actually works. It's very simple and it sounds good. What more can you say?
What do you actually prefer, working in the studio or being on the road? What appeals to you better or more?
Being on the road.
Yeah, I think me also, being on the road. If it's going good, you know. It gets very boring and it gets very tiring. You can see we're very flushed and tired at the moment. It is tiring on the road, but it's more fun in a way because it's more stimulating. You get more feedback, reaction. The studio is long periods of boredom and then just short periods of excitement when you feel you've done something that's good and new. There's so much work goes into each small thing. It's difficult.
Do you sometimes have difficulties in bringing the studio sound on stage?
Yeah, always.
And how do you work with that?
We don't really do that, do we?
No, that goes back right to the beginning. We always said that we don't really want to recreate the records on stage. We want the stage to be an experience in itself. And the songs are the same, but if they seem to demand a different treatment on stage, then they just get a different treatment. We've made one concession on this tour, and that is that we have a keyboard player helping out the back line, just filling in some parts which we couldn't do, and that's helped a little bit in a way. But generally speaking, if you'd recreate a record on stage and nothing else, we think that's really hardly worth doing, because it's just like you might as well just play the tape through the PA, you know. So we like to make the stage performance something special which is never seen again.
Yeah. It's a different medium, you know. It has to be treated differently because the stage thing is like an experience, and it should be an exciting experience. Well, for us, we feel it should be an exciting visual and audio experience. And just to go on and try and sound exactly like the records is a mistake, I think. So we don't try and do that. We try and get some good feeling and atmosphere and excitement and ambience, I suppose.
Good let out, isn't it?
So it's a different approach, you know.
Yeah.
Do you think that the visual part gets more and more important nowadays?
Not more and more important, really.
No more than it ever has been. I think it's always been important, but people have spent a long time getting it right, really. You know.
We always thought it was, really. When we started off, it was kind of unfashionable to think that way, and then it became fashionable, and then with the sort of punk and new wave, it became unfashionable, and I guess now it's kind of fashionable again. All these things go in cycles, do they not?
Normally we break the show on an American tour where the buildings are...
Normalerweise probieren wir die Show erst auf einer Amerika-Tournee aus, denn dort sind die Konzerthallen größer und daher kann man das Ganze viel leichter aufbauen. Es ist ziemlich schwierig, die neue Show in Europa zuerst aufzuziehen, weil man durch die kleineren Hallen weniger ausprobieren kann. Also normalerweise machen wir zuerst die Amerika-Tournee und wenn die Show eingespielt ist, kommen wir damit nach Europa und kennen schon die Grenzen unserer Möglichkeiten. Diesmal ist es umgekehrt, das macht es für uns schwerer. Für eine Show wie diese von Queen brauchen wir inklusive Design und Bühnenbau circa 6 Monate Vorbereitungszeit.
Probably involves about 6 months work. That's 6 months. Well, we handle most of the planning. My company handles most of the planning stages, the production, the travel, hotels, staff, sound, lights, you know.
Meine Firma führt die gesamte Planung dieser Tournee durch, also Produktion, Reisen, Hotels, Ton, Licht. Und wenn die Tour dann läuft, bin ich der Tourneemanager. Im Ganzen also, von den Musikern bis zu den Chauffeuren, sind wir 40 Leute, die bei dieser Tour von Stadt zu Stadt ziehen. Wenn wir in Amerika auf Tournee sind, haben wir zwar mehr Equipment mit, aber deswegen nicht mehr Leute. Das Personal in den einzelnen Hallen ist in den USA so gut, dass man mehr Equipment mit weniger Leuten betreuen kann.
In America, due to the buildings and the type of staff you have in the buildings, you can take more equipment and not so many people. It's very difficult. Put it that way. especially with a large.
Sagen wir mal so, es ist sehr schwer, in Europa mit einer Tournee viel Geld zu machen, besonders bei einer so großen Show wie bei Queen, wo der Aufwand so enorm ist. Benzin ist in Europa teurer, Transport, Hotels, das alles führt dazu, dass es sehr schwer wird, in Europa überhaupt mit Tourneen Geld zu verdienen.
Warum ist Queen Ihrer Meinung nach so erfolgreich?
I don't.
Sie sind eine gute Liveband und sie machen wirklich sehr viele Konzerte, was ich sehr wichtig finde. Was ihre Platten betrifft, weiß ich keine gute Antwort. Ich persönlich höre privat eigentlich nicht viel Rockmusik.
As far as the record end is concerned, I guess I really don't know. I don't listen to much rock and roll music personally, and it's a big business now, whereby in those days it was more of a cowboy type business, you know. It's like more.
Heute ist die Rockmusik ein großes Geschäft. In den 60er Jahren war das noch ganz anders. Da war Rockmusik ein Hasardspiel. Heute gibt es für alles Spezialfirmen, für die Lastwagen, für Tontechnik, Lichtausrüstung. Es wurde eine regelrechte Industrie. Das ist es, was aus der Rockmusik wurde, eine Industrie. Und was für eine.
This